Okay, friends, let's start dealing with today's topic. Today's topic is pertaining to you know the second type of multiplication regarding vectors. Now, earlier we have seen the scalar product or dot product. That means the first type of multiplication between the two vectors. Now, here in this case, we are going to see the second type of multiplication between two vectors. We call it as vector product, or the other name for it will be called as cross product, friends. Okay, so let's define it basically. So how you define a vector product or a cross product? It is defined as the product of magnitude of the two vectors, and instead of cos here it is sine of angle between them. All right, so if I have to express it, I will express it as a bar cross b bar. Okay, earlier for scalar product I was expressing it as a bar dot b bar. Here I will be expressing this as a bar cross b bar, and obviously if I'm putting it in modulus sign, that means I'm talking about the magnitude of this cross product. And according to the definition, this a bar cross b bar then would be equated to magnitude of a multiplied by magnitude of b multiplied by sine of the angle between the two vectors, unlike the cosine of angle for the scalar product, if you all remember. All right, this is how you define vector product. Now, vector product is a vector quantity, whereas scalar product was a scalar quantity. You have seen the previous examples. When we take the scalar product of force and displacement, force is a vector quantity, displacement is a vector quantity, but their product is work, and work is a scalar quantity. So in scalar product, the final outcome was a scalar quantity. Whereas here in case of vector product, the final outcome will be a vector quantity. Now when I am saying vector quantity, that means it has to have direction, and that direction is given by right hand rule. Basically, you can see the direction of a bar cross b bar will be always perpendicular to the plane containing a and b. So it's given by right hand rule. We also call it as right hand thumb rule. Now let's understand what this rule says. Imagine the fingers of the right hand to be curled. You can see, all right, and you can see the forefinger and the middle finger being outstretched along with the thumb. So if one finger is representing a bar, other finger is representing b bar, the thumb will be representing, you can see, the thumb is representing the cross product of a and b. So if I'm moving from a to b, you can see a bar cross b bar. The direction of this cross product is given by the thumb, which is in the upward direction. So if you observe the thumb is basically, you can see, perpendicular to the plane containing a and b. If I talk about plane containing a and b, the two vectors, the thumb is perpendicular to that. The direction of the cross product will be in that sense. The same diagram is being drawn here in different sense. You can see if I am moving from A to B, I am taking cross product of A to B, basically A bar cross B bar. Then obviously you can see the upper arrow will give you me the direction of A bar cross B bar. That means if I rotate the vector, if I change the order, I move from B to A, then in that case, friends, if I move from B to A, you observe, if I'm moving from B to A, then B bar cross A bar will have a direction downwards, isn't it? Therefore, the direction changes, and therefore A bar cross B bar will not be equal to B bar cross A bar. Again, I repeat about vector product, friends. So we define vector product as the product of the magnitude of two vectors and sine of angle between them. Because vector product or cross product is a vector quantity, it has to have direction, which is given by the right hand thumb rule. So you can see if these two fingers are representing A and B, the outstretched thumb will represent the direction of A bar cross B bar. Same thing is being represented in this diagram. If you move from A bar to B bar, right? So take the cross product from A to B, A cross B. Unlike A dot B, here we will be calling it as A cross B. So then the outstretched thumb that gives you the direction, say this will be the direction of A bar cross B bar. Had it been B bar to cross A bar, the arrow would have been exactly opposite, that is downwards. Therefore, it has a direction, and we say the vector product is a vector quantity, friends. Please make a note of it, and once you are done with it, please let me know so that we move forward. Yeah. So very crucial information, friends. Important thing to know. The tricky situation. Okay, so we need to understand it. We need to concentrate more on this, friends. Okay, let's proceed further. So hopefully done. Everybody says. So let's talk about the characteristics of vector product, friends. As I said, it's not commutative. What it means, the direction of A bar cross B bar is opposite to the direction of B bar cross A bar, friends. So if you take the direction of A bar cross B bar and you talk it about the direction of B bar cross A bar and you compare it, their magnitudes are equal but the directions are opposite. Therefore, you cannot equate A bar cross B bar to B bar cross A bar, but their magnitudes can be equated. You can see if I'm moving from A to B, I'm taking, you know, the cross product like A bar to B bar, basically. So the direction is upwards, perpendicular to the plane of A bar cross B bar. But had it been B bar cross A bar, then you can see I can equate the magnitude A bar cross B bar. The magnitude can be equated to B bar cross A bar, but their directions are not same. Okay, they are opposite. Had it been B bar cross A bar, friends, then B bar cross A bar is directed downwards perpendicular to the plane as per right hand rule, you can see. So because their directions are opposite, I cannot equate A bar cross B bar to B bar cross A bar. But yeah, I can always equate A bar cross B bar to minus B bar cross A bar because the directions are opposite. And that's why I say vector product is not commutative like scalar product, friends. Please make a note of it. Once you are done with it, let me know. Yeah, so most of you say done. Okay, so let's proceed then. This is the first characteristic. The vector product is not commutative. And the first property of vector product was it's a vector quantity basically. Okay, unlike what we have seen in scalar product, friends. So let's move ahead then. If you are done with it, let's talk about the second property, second characteristic. The vector product is distributive like the scalar product. Okay, that means A bar cross B bar plus C bar, that it indicates that this A bar will get distributed with B as well as C, this manner. A bar cross, it will be equal to A bar cross B bar plus A bar cross C bar. This property is called as distributive property, friends. Then the next thing which you need to understand is the vector product of a vector with itself is zero. Why the vector product with itself will be zero? Because the angle between the two vectors, because it is with itself, is zero and sine zero is zero. So A bar cross A bar has to be zero. Why zero? Because sine zero is zero. Okay, so you will see the vector product of a vector with itself is always zero. Okay, here if they are mutually perpendicular, That means if the angle between A bar and B bar is 90 degrees, then we all know sine 90 is 1, and therefore in that case the vector product will be, it's wrongly mentioned over here, okay, it's not 0. Here it cannot be 0 because sine 90 is 1. So it will be only, you can see AB. So please eliminate this step. Okay, correct this. It cannot be 0 over here because sine 90 is 1. Therefore, A bar cross B bar ka magnitude would be equal to AB sine 90. Sine 90 is 1, therefore it will be simply AB. So please eliminate this step. Okay, if the two vectors are mutually perpendicular, then this step is true. All right, this has to be equal to AB then and not 0. Please make that correction. Okay, then let's move ahead. If we talk in terms of unit vectors, friends, say I cap and I cap. If we are talking about I cap and I cap, which is the unit vector along x axis, so obviously the angle between I and I would be 0. And we all know sine 0 is 0. Just like A bar cross A bar is 0, similarly I cap cross I cap will also be equal to 0. How? I'll show you. See, the magnitude of I is 1. Again, the magnitude of I is 1. Angle between them is 0. So sine 0 is 0. The entire thing comes out to be 0. The similar way, can I say J cap cross J cap is also 0, and K cap cross K cap is also 0. Why? Because the angle between them is 0 and sine 0 will be 0. So this is something which we need to know, friends. Okay, very interesting and important property over here. Let's proceed then. If I'm talking about I cap cross J cap, then I'm talking about the second case because they both are mutually perpendicular. X and Y axis. I'm talking about I cap and J cap means I'm talking about X and Y axis. The angle between them is 90. So in that case, it will be 1 for I cap, magnitude of I cap is 1, magnitude of J cap is 1, and the angle between them is 90. That is sine 90 is also 1. So 1 into 1 into 1 is 1. So I cap cross J cap will be 1, you can see. Similarly, J cap, so after I, J comes K, okay, this is how the cycle is. I, J, K, I, J, K, okay, this is how the cycle would be. So J cross K, then in that case is also equal magnitude. Can I say J cross K will be again similar to K cross I. Why? Because see, after I comes J, after J comes K, and after K again comes I. Okay, this is how it would be rotated. So ultimately, it has to be equal to 1. That's what I mean to say. You can see over here. So J cap cross K cap or K cap cross I cap will be equal to 1. Just like I cap cross J cap is equal to 1. Why? Because the angle between these two vectors is 90 degrees and sine 90 is 1. Alright. Let's proceed then. You can see if the vector A bar and B bar are parallel or anti-parallel. Now when the vectors are parallel or anti-parallel, if they are parallel, the angle between them would be 0. If they are anti-parallel, then the angle between them will be 180, friends. Okay. So if they are parallel, angle between them is 0, and if they are anti-parallel, angle between them will be 180 degrees. In that case, the vector product will be given as A bar cross B bar is a null vector. Why? Because sine 0 is 0 or sine 180 is also 0. So ultimately you take a cross product of A bar cross B bar, you will get it as 0, and 0 is nothing but a null vector, you can see. So these are few interpretations. Here only correction on the slide is A bar cross B bar has to be equal to AB and not 0. Okay, so make that correction. Once you are done with it, please let me know, friends. Yeah, most of you say done. Okay. So then let's proceed further. Okay. So this is a very important slide. Please make a note of it carefully with all those corrections. Okay. Here the correction on the slide was A bar cross B bar like this would be equal to AB and not equal to 0. Okay. That's the correction. Okay. Now let's start working on this. So let's move ahead. Let's proceed further. Yeah. So A bar in 3 dimensions, you can write it as AX I cap plus AY j cap plus AZ k cap. B bar would be given as Bx I cap plus By j cap plus Bz k cap. Okay. We know one thing very clearly, I cross j is equal to j cross k only in terms of, you can see, I cross j will be equal to j cross k will be equal to k cross I. This is how the cycle would go ahead. Okay. So here you can see I cross j will be equal to j cross k, k cross I. You just reverse the order because it is not commutative, then it won't be equal. Okay. It will be opposite in that case so far as the direction is concerned. So let's talk about it. Okay. And how much is that? So if I talk about all these cases, it will be 1 into 1 into sine 90. That means sine 90 is also 1. So ultimately it will be 1. So one should remember this step. Okay. Always remember this step for the further analysis. Similarly, can I say I cross j is nothing but equal to k, because the cross product of I and j will be perpendicular to the plane of I and j, so which is the plane of k. So I cross j is nothing but k. Similarly, can see where k is a unit vector perpendicular to the both the vectors I and j in this case. Okay. Yeah, this is important step. Similarly, j cross k would be equal to I, because you can just see the cycle. After I and j comes k. Similarly, after j and k will come I. Had it been k cross j, it would have been minus I. Had it been j cross I, it would have been minus k, friends. It depends, like the way you are taking the order, basically. Okay, very important step, friends. Similarly, k cross I. Now we are talking about a cycle. Okay, I, after I comes j, the j comes k, after k comes again I. So everything is positive in this case. So k cross I is j, the unit vector perpendicular to the both k and I vectors. Now I just change the order because it is not commutative. If you change the order of the above cases, you can see if I change the order, yeah, here you can see if I change the order, j cross I won't be k, then what would it be? So it would be minus k. J cross I is minus k. Alright. Similarly, k cross j, if I change the order over here, it won't be I, it would be minus I. And finally, if I change the order over here, k cross I ke jagah pe if I take it as I cross k, then instead of j, I have to take it as minus k. Why? It's not commutative. You know the reason why, how the directions reverse. So you can see vector product of a vector with itself will be always 0. Remember that. So I cross I, j cross j, and k cross k will be always 0. So very, very important steps. We are going to adopt these steps while actually taking a cross product in the next slide. Please make a note of this and let me know once you're done with it. Yeah, most of you say done. So let's move ahead. Let's proceed then in that case. So actually we want to take the cross product now. A bar cross B bar in 3 dimensions. Okay, just like we have taken the dot product in the previous case of multiplication of two vectors. Here we will take the actual cross product. So A bar cross B bar would be the first bracket cross the second bracket in this way, in 3 dimensions. So now AX has to be multiplied by this entire bracket. So let's see how we put it. So which employs A bar cross B bar. I want your attention to be high, okay? Do not miss any of the steps now. So A bar cross B bar, can I write it as the first term can be multiplied as AX BX, and what remains in the bracket? I cross I. Okay, you can see the coefficients, friends, over here. Just AX BX, and in bracket I cross I. Similarly, the second term plus AX BY. Now you are just multiplying this AX BY, and it will be I cross J in the bracket. You can see I cross J. AX BY I cross J. The third term for the first row would be AX BZ, and then it would be I cross K. This is how you have multiplied AX with the entire bracket of B. Second step is to multiply AY with the bracket of B, you can see, plus. So AY, the first term will be AY BX, you can see AY BX. And what remains in the bracket? J cross I, okay, so you can see J cross I. Plus, the second term would be AY BY, and what the term in the bracket would be J cross J. The next term would be AY BZ, and the term in the bracket would be J cross K. Similarly, AZ would be multiplied by the entire bracket of B now. So let's put it. So next word would be AZ BX. Now what remains in the bracket is K cross I cap plus the second term would be AZ BY, and then bracket it becomes K cross J plus the third term, final term would be the ninth term in a way, AZ BZ, and obviously what remains in the bracket is K cross K. Now we all know, you can see I cross I, J cross J, and K cross K, they are 0. That's what we have seen. So 1, 2, and 3, these diagonal terms will vanish. Now we all know I cross J is K. I cross K, we should know what it is, right? We will just substitute it. Okay, let's move ahead. Yeah, so let's say A cross B will be given as AX BX. Now we know I cross I is 0. So the first bracket becomes 0. Plus AY BY. I cross J is K. So the second becomes K. But you can see. The third term AX BZ. I cross K. We all know I cross K is minus J. We'll put it as minus J over there. Plus the next term AX BX. Okay, here it's not AX BX, friends. We have to correct it. Okay, it's not AX BX. As per our discussion, it should be AY BX. Okay, so here it will be AY BX. But J cross I would be given as minus K. So here that correction has to be made. Okay, it is AY BX, and instead of this bracket, we are going to substitute it as minus K. Similarly, AY BY plus AY BY, and we all know J cross J is 0. Self cross product is 0. So 0. The next term AY BZ. J cross K would be given as I cap. I'm just replacing it as I cap. The next term, last row, AZBX K cross I would be given as J plus AZBY K cross J would be given as minus I plus last term AZBZ K cross K is again 0. So this is the final outcome, friends. Here the only mistake is here it should be AY. That's it. Now we will compress this equation in the further slide. Please make a note of it with the correction, okay? And let me know once you're done with it. So you can see here you are supposed to put it as AY. 1, 2, and 3. These diagonal terms will vanish. Okay. So how many terms will remain out of 9? If 3 terms go, so we are left with only 6 terms now in the
zone.
okay. Hopefully done. Yeah. So most of you say done. Let's move ahead then. So only 6 terms remain now. Here you can see 3 terms vanish because of that 0 in the bracket. Okay. So let's put it. Let's move ahead. So which terms remain then? Okay, so AYBZ minus AZBY, and what remains is I cap. Okay, you observe this step. Yeah, so I cap and I cap. Okay, so you can take I cap common, and what remains in the bracket will be this minus this. Similarly, you can take J cap common and see what coefficients remain. So ultimately, when we simplify this, you get this as, you know, if you take I cap common, you get AYBZ minus AZBY. If you take J cap common, then you get this term AZBX minus AXBZ in bracket. You take K cap common, you get AXBY minus AYBX. Now the same thing, this is the expansion of a determinant. If you have studied determinant, so this can be placed in terms of determinant, then this is the expansion of determinant basically. This is how you expand a determinant. You open a determinant. So you can see it's nothing but A bar cross B bar is nothing but the formation of a determinant in terms of I, J, and K with the coefficients in the two rows as AX, AY, AZ. The second row being Bx, By, and Bz. So when you put it in form of determinant and you try to open it, you're going to get this step. So I have just reversed this step. So ultimately what I mean to say is, you want to find the cross product A bar cross B bar, you have to put it in terms of a determinant like this. And how to open the determinant? So this is the order of opening a determinant, friends. So very crucial step, very important step. Please make a note of it, and then we will move ahead further. So it is tricky as compared to dot product. In dot product, what we did, we simply, added them, the coefficients. Here we have to put it in form of a determinant to solve a problem. So unless and until you know how this determinant is to be opened, we cannot solve the problem of a cross product. Okay, that's why this step is very important. So every time when you take a cross product, you put it in terms of a determinant, and this is how you're supposed to open it. Now, hopefully things are sorted out till here. Let's move ahead. Okay, so for example, just like work was a scalar product of force and displacement, vector product will be the area of parallelogram formed by the two vectors. Let's see how. Say the base of the parallelogram, I will consider it as vector A denoted by B. Okay, so B stands for base, which is being represented by A. So A bar is representing the base of a parallelogram. Height of the parallelogram is say h. Here you can see the h stands for the height of the parallelogram. Now if this vector is A, obviously the adjacent vector will be B. Now if this is B, this angle is theta, this is a right angle triangle. So by trigonometry I can say h is B sine theta. So height is B sine theta, friends. Base is A, height is B sine theta. So area of a parallelogram, we all know it is base into height. So base is A and H stands for B sine theta. The area of a parallelogram then can be represented as base can be written as B sine theta and height can be written as B sine theta and base is A. So it is AB sine theta. So area of the parallelogram is AB sine theta. This A stands for area, friends. This A stands for vector A. So can I say then area of a parallelogram is AB sine theta means it is nothing but the vector product. So A bar cross B bar. Here you have to make a correction. Okay, this is the definition of A bar cross B bar. You make a B bar over here. Okay. The area of the parallelogram can be worked out in terms of cross product of A bar and B bar. Just have a look at it. So vector product of two vectors represents in magnitude the area of a parallelogram formed by the two vectors as its adjacent side. The only correction over here is instead of A bar it should be B bar over here, and one should not get confused between this A and this A. This A stands for area, this A stands for vector A. Make a note of it, friends. Had it
Sir,
been yeah, just a minute, had it been only an area of triangle, then instead of half base into height it would have been half base into height. Yeah, whosoever was asking the question, please ask now.
sir, can you please show the last slide for a second?
Yeah, Swaradi, just a minute. Okay, yeah, this is the slide I have got. This is the slide which you wanted, Swarali.
Yes, sir. I'm done with it.
Okay.
Thank
So hopefully you have made a note of this also, and in this the only correction is, instead of A bar it should be B bar over here. And important thing, this was the area of parallelogram. Had it been only triangle, it would have been half base into height. But again, having said that, we can estimate the area of a triangle also in terms of cross product. So hopefully done. Please let me know. Just put it in the feedback section so that we move ahead. So a brief comparative we have established between the two types of multiplication now. One is dot product and other is cross product, friends. Okay. So let's proceed further. Right? Yeah, most of you said done. So let's proceed further. Yeah. So let's put a comparative between scalar product and vector product. Okay. Yeah. So let's move ahead. Let's put a comparative over here. Dot product and cross product. So this product is a scalar quantity. Dot product is a scalar quantity. Example, work is a scalar quantity and it's a dot product of two vectors, force and displacement. It's a vector quantity. Okay, here it's wrong. The product is vector here because it has direction. Okay, make that correction. Example, area of parallelogram and triangle. Just now we have seen. So make that correction. Okay, it's a scalar quantity. It's a vector quantity. Yeah. So here you can see A dot B equal to, here you have to put equal to sign, will be equal to AB cos theta. Whereas here A cross B will be AB sin theta. Alright friends, so this is something which you need to understand. Here you are supposed to put equal to sign and here it is a vector quantity. That's the correction which you are supposed to make. Alright. Yeah. Now, next point of difference between dot product and it's a scalar quantity and has no direction. It is directed at right angles to the plane of the two vectors. That's given by right hand rule. That's what we have seen for cross product, friends. And its sense is given by right hand thumb rule. That's what we have seen. Now here if two vectors are perpendicular, their scalar product is 0. We have seen this in the previous session. But if two vectors are parallel, here if the two vectors are parallel, then their vector product is 0. If the two vectors are perpendicular, then the scalar product is 0. Whereas if two vectors are parallel, then the vector product is 0. It has a comparison. Next, It obeys commutative multiplication, but here it does not obey commutative multiplication. So here in this slide of comparative, the only correction is here you're supposed to put equal to sign, and here instead of scalar it should be vector. Please make a note of it, and then we will move ahead. Yeah, so most of you say done. Just okay. Hopefully done. So most of you say done. So there are other points of differences also which we can compare. Let's move ahead with that. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay. So for dot product, we know self dot product is equal to the square of the vector. But when it comes to cross product, here you can see the correction has to be made. Self means A dot A it should be, and it will be A square. Instead of B, it should be A over here. Here the self cross product is 0. So A cross A is 0. Here A dot A is A square. That's the difference. Okay. Make that correction. Okay. Instead of B, it should be A. The final point which we will make over here, I dot J, J I dot J, J dot K dot K. Okay. So I dot I, J dot J basically. Okay. Here it should be a correction. I dot I, J dot J, and K dot K is 1. Okay. Because self dot product is square root. Make that correction. Okay. I dot I, J dot J, K dot K is 1. Here you can see I dot I. Again, you are supposed to make the correction. I dot I, J dot J, and K dot K is 0 here. Just like this. Make the correction in 7.8 point. I dot J, J dot K, and K dot I, because 90 degrees, so cos 90 is 0, so 0. Whereas here in this case, 8 point, I dot, it should be I cross J. Make that correction, okay? I cross J will be K, J cross I will be minus K. Okay, here it should be cross. Here also it should be cross. Make those corrections, friends. Typological errors, but crucial. Similarly, this is something which we have seen. We are just putting it in terms of points. Here also it should be cross. Okay, have a look at it. So make those corrections and then put it. So while preparing notes, see to it that you correct these things. Okay. Once you are done with it, let me know so that I can share some formulas which we will be using for solving problems on vectors, especially on vector product on Monday. So before that, I'll share some formulas with you, and I want you people also to note them down. Yeah, so most of you say done. Please make those corrections in point number 7 and point number 8, okay, from the previous slides. Don't blindly follow them as it is, because there are typological errors involved there. Yeah, so everybody says done. I'll just give you an idea regarding some formulas basically, which you would be using. Okay, important formulas for vectors. So the theory part regarding the second chapter is over today, but final completion would be on Monday. Monday we would be dealing with the problems on vector product. But then I want you people to be very well aware of these formulas. Okay, unit vector, how you put a unit vector. So vector divided by its magnitude is unit vector. Okay. How you find the resultant of two vectors? The parallelogram law. How you find the direction? With the help of parallelogram law. How you put the components? Yeah. So this is how you represent the vector, and this is how you find the magnitude of the vector. So please make a note of this slide. See, this is not new to us, but then I'm just grouping it for you people so that it becomes easier for you to recall these formulas while solving problems. Make a note of it. Once you're done with it, let me know so that I can show you the remaining part of the formula. So most of you say done. Let's move ahead then, friends. Okay. Dot product. Just we have seen it in the previous session. Just putting now
Sir,
this formulas. Yes.
will you show the previous slide?
Yeah. Yeah, Sakshi. Once you are done with it, please let me know. Yes.
Done, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, so these are the formulas regarding dot product which we have seen in the earlier session. A dot B would be worked out as AB cos theta, or you can also put it as AX BX plus AY BY plus AZ BZ. Okay, it's not AZ plus BZ, it will be AZ BZ directly. So dot product of force and displacement is work. So work is dot product of F and R. So you can also put it as FR cos theta. How you work out component of A along B? So this is the formula A cos theta. Always remember, okay, this is an important formula which you would be needing. Component of A along B would be A cos theta, right? So you can see how you find out A cos theta from this. You take A cos theta on one side. So what you get? A bar dot B bar divided by, here you can see A bar dot B bar divided by B. This is component of A along B. Had it been component of B along A, then the formula would have been B cos theta equal to A bar dot B bar divided by A. You get it from this particular equation. These two formulas are very, very important for solving problems. Then we have seen I dot J, I dot K dot K. Here also you have to make a correction. I dot I, J dot J and K dot K is 1. Okay, that's the correction which we need to make. Whereas I dot J, J dot K and K dot I is 0. So these are the two things. These are all formulas related to dot product. Make the correction over here, okay? This I dot I and J dot J. Please make a note of it before I move ahead. Let me know if you are done with it. So most of you say done. I believe you have noted this down. So see to it that you make those corrections, okay? Then recently we have worked out vector products. So A bar cross B bar, as I've told you, you will always solve it in terms of determinants. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just give me a moment. Yeah, friends. So A bar cross B bar would be put in terms of determinants like this. I, J, K, and the coefficients would be placed. And I told you how to open it. I showed you, right? So you're going to follow that. And here in this case, I cross I, J cross J, and K cross K is 0. Whereas I cross J is K, J cross I is minus K, and so on. So just like area of parallelogram, I just told you area of triangle will be half A bar cross B bar. Area of parallelogram will be only A bar cross B bar. So torque, that means you can see torque is an angular force, you can see, okay, or rotational force. So how you estimate torque? With the help of cross product of force and position vector. So torque is denoted by this notation tau, the Greek notation tau, and torque means rotational force. So that is the cross product of position vector and linear force, normal force you can say. So whenever R bar and F bar is given to you, you take a cross product of it. You can estimate Please make a note of this once before we move ahead.